What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Samurai Radio, and I would like to apologize for the past 2 days of no videos. I have been feeling a little bit under the weather and could not record, as well as I've had some issues with my computer. If you have not seen my life/channel update video, I explained that I am building a computer which should be done in about a month, hopefully, and then I will have no more issues recording, as well as things will come out faster and better quality. So now we're gonna do a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, but I felt like it might not have been the greatest idea for my channel. But after a lot of things I saw today, I had to put it out, regardless of what happens to my channel or not, because I did say how I'm gonna put out my opinion, and then I think that I shouldn't. But this is what I'm gonna do, and this is how I'm gonna voice myself. So this video, you already see by the title, is titled "Things That I Hate About Dolphins Fans." Now, personally, myself, I'm a long-time Dolphins fan. I felt like ever since really I could get into sports, you like your home teams no matter what. Ride or die, even if they suck, even if they're amazing, it doesn't matter. You love the teams where you were born. Those are your home teams. It doesn't matter. You can obviously like other teams, but from my personal opinion, what I've learned from my father, who grew up in New York, so he was a Jets fan and a Yankees fan rather than a Giants and a Mets, his whole thing was you love where you're from. And so my thing, I was going along with my dad, and my favorite team was the Dolphins, the Heat, and the Marlins. And I really liked baseball, I really liked football, and I really liked basketball. And football has stuck, and basketball has stuck with me, and baseball not so much, just because I started to become more of a Mets fan than a Marlins fan. But the Marlins are good right now. They're 4 games behind in the wild card race, but I still don't personally like them just because of Jeffrey Lourier. But when it comes to football and basketball, those are my two favorite sports. And I always liked the Heat, even to the seasons when we were losing after the 2006 championship and so forth. And so after that, we were losing for a long time. The 09-010 season was really bad. And then, of course, LeBron and Chris Bosh came down here. We went to 4 straight finals, won 2 of them. Should have won all 4 of them, really. Or at least 3 of them. But either way, it doesn't matter. And even now this year, they might not do so well, but you still ride or die with your team. And I feel like a lot of Dolphins fans don't get that memo. And there's a lot of people who say, well, I've liked the Dolphins for 30 years now, and so that means I hate the fact that they're losing. I'm used to Dan Marino and Bob Greasy and all this other stuff. And really, it doesn't matter. I mean, the Dolphins are your team. You ride or die with the Dolphins. Through heartbreak, through winning, that's your team. I mean, especially for me, I couldn't see myself not liking the Dolphins. It's something that just matters so much to me. The Dolphins are just something that's a huge part of my life, and especially when it comes to the players on the team. I mean, it could be someone we just picked up, but you should start learning everything. In terms of me, you should start learning everything about that player, starting to love them. I mean, there's so much stuff that I feel personally that this is your team. You should love them. Yeah, you can complain, but complain to a certain point. Like, if you don't know what you're talking about, you need to stop complaining. And the number one thing I hate, I have 5 things. The number one thing I hate is that everyone always bashes Ryan Tannehill. Now, he does have some struggles. There is no lie there. He's not a true quarterback in terms of he didn't play his entire life as quarterback. He really switched at Texas A&M from wide receiver to quarterback after his first 2 years. Now, of course, he was able to play quarterback before, but he was never a true quarterback. He was a transitional player, which a lot of people coming out of high school, they're transitional and they end up getting something in college or even so forth. There's not really always someone who's a true player. I mean, look at Braxton Miller. He went from quarterback to wide receiver. He's not a true wide receiver. Terrell Pryor went from a quarterback to a wide receiver. He's not a true wide receiver. Then again, he was never really a true quarterback. But there's those things here and there. And of course, you know, you can knock Tannehill for his deep ball, but if you look at it, last year his deep ball got a lot better, and this year it's got a lot better too. And a lot of people say he has no heart, he's not a leader. Well, if you look at the game against the Patriots defense, and you know Bill Belichick, he doesn't play soft. A lot of people are saying, oh, the Patriots defense started playing soft. No. If you know anything about football, you know that Bill Belichick does not play soft. He will ram down and score as many points on you as he possibly can. Of course, the offense started playing soft once Jacoby Brissett went in, but they had no choice. He's not used to the system. He wasn't used to throwing with the first-team guys. You don't have a choice but to hand it off to LeGarrette Blount and run wide receiver screens and tight end screens and running back screens. You don't really have a choice because he's not used to the mental cues that everyone else has. So they didn't have a choice but to go to a more conservative game. Now, when it comes to the defense, Bill Belichick, and especially Matt Patricia, they don't hold back. Their defense has always traditionally been good. And that's really one of the backbones. I mean, a lot of people say, okay, you have Tom Brady. Yeah, but defense wins championships. Peyton Manning didn't play good last year at all. And as a matter of fact, after he was injured, he was benched, and Brock Osweiler really replaced him. But his defense was elite. They shouldn't have beat the Broncos the other day on Thursday Night Football, the opening week. They shouldn't have beat the Panthers. Excuse me. The Broncos should not have beat the Panthers, but the defense was strong. And so, like I said, going back to Ryan Tannehill, he has, of course, his deep ball, but he's improved it a lot. They say he's too soft. He doesn't have leadership. He led that team through that second half, and he was ranked by Pro Football Focus as the second best quarterback in the league after week 2, which is insane because it shuts down a lot of haters. And I'm not sure if it was out of both weeks he's number 2 right now, or if it was just out of this week. I'm not too positive, but still, that's something eye-opening. And then on top of that, they say, oh, well, he just gives up sacks a lot. Well, really, there's only been one given sack up in the past 2 weeks. Yeah, there's been a lot of quarterback pressures, but he's only had one sack given up by his offensive line and him, where he's fell down. On top of the fact that he doesn't have Mike Pouncey, it's Anthony Steen who's still getting used to it. So Steen doesn't know the same cues that Tannehill has. Last week he had a bad snap. He snapped it before Bushrod tapped him to let him know to snap it. So there's obviously a lot of miscues, but the number one thing people say about Tannehill is that when they win, oh man, Tannehill had a great game. I love him. He's our quarterback. When they lose, oh, Tannehill sucks. He sucks. Tannehill sucks. But what about our defense? The past 2 weeks, did we lose because of Tannehill? No. He led the defense and put them in perfect positions both weeks to win. And what did the defense do? They gave up. We were up 10-6 against Seattle. Final drive, what did the defense do? Allow a touchdown. And we lost. Against the Patriots, the defense was playing amazing. Jay Ajayi fumbles. All you have to do right now, defense, get up, don't allow a touchdown. They allow a touchdown. We're down 31-10, I believe. Tannehill comes back, scores again. So now 24-31. All they had to do was get a quick stop, and they could have got the ball back, and Tannehill was going to score. You saw it in his eyes. You saw he was stepping into the throw. He was confident in his throwing. He was having a great game. What they do, they allowed Stephen Gostkowski to almost get a field goal that would have ended the game. And even then, he drove down the field, and Devontae Parker could have jumped up for the ball and got that catch. People say it was a little overthrown. Devontae Parker was looking for the ball in the air when he's supposed to be a deep threat. Now, Devontae Parker played amazing in his first week back. The dude is a natural. He is natural at the position, but he definitely could have caught that ball. Yes, it was overthrown a little, but he could have caught it. So, a lot of people hate on that. And then we go to number 2. I think I'm only going to make it 3 things, not 5 things. We go to number 2. Number 2 is, I hate our coaches. Our coaches suck. Then when we win, oh, I love that coach. He's amazing. It's always something when we lose, they hate them. When we win, they're amazing. Oh, Adam Gase is just like Joe Philbin and Dan Campbell. Is he really? He's had his team the past 2 weeks in perfect positions to win games against teams who played average enough for the Dolphins to be able to come back and almost win said games. So how is he bad? He was given a team without a lot of talent, granted, but that defense has played great. Besides, obviously, last drives, they've done some bad things. But Isa Abdul-Quddus, a guy who I said was going to be a sleeper for people, but is going to perform and would be a steal, he's played great. Rashad Jones, nothing more to say about him. Xavier Howard leads all corners in tackles. Ndamukong Suh leads all defensive tackles in tackles, I'm pretty sure. Mario Williams, when on the field, is getting pass rush. Cam Wake, when on the field, is getting pass rush. Jordan Phillips is being dominant in the run game. It's really our corners and our linebackers. Johnny Jenkins, he's been good in the tackle department. Kiko's been good in the tackle department, needs to get better in coverage. Koamisi, he's been good in the tackle department. But for whatever reason, the Dolphins lose and they suck. The Dolphins win, they're the best team in the league. How is that possible? How do people come to the point where they think that that's a legitimate thing? It just blows my mind. Now we go to the third thing, which is that the same quote I said before. I've been a fan of the Dolphins for 30 years. So they suck. What is you being a fan of them for 30 years have to do with them sucking? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me because, yes, the past couple of years, they've been very bad. On top of the fact that they wouldn't fire Jeff Ireland, and that was a Stephen Ross decision, and people always say, oh, Tannenbaum sucks. As far as I'm concerned, Tannenbaum drafted Tunsil. Tannenbaum drafted Devontae Parker. Tannenbaum drafted Bobby McCain, who's played well in the slot as a CB, well, in the nickel, excuse me. So what do you have to argue about that? He's hit on 3. He drafted Jordan Phillips. I mean, Jordan Phillips last year, yeah, he didn't play as good. This year, are you kidding me? He's been playing out of his mind. Like, it doesn't make any sense. He signed Ndamukong Suh. Oh, he's overpriced. You understand that defensive tackles, they're either a run stopper, a nose tackle, or they're a pass rusher. You take Aaron Donald, for instance. He's a pass rusher. You take Ndamukong Suh, you could really say he's either 3, but he's more of a run stopper, and that's what they got him for. And so a lot of people are always trashing it, and it doesn't make any sense to me. That quote, that saying, I've been a Dolphins fan for 30 years, so they suck, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to blame Tannehill. It doesn't make any sense to blame Tannenbaum. It doesn't make any sense that you're saying that you've been a fan for 30 years and that's why they suck. It doesn't make any sense. And I know that there are going to be some people who agree with me, but I mean, if you're a fan of the team, be a fan of the team. Don't be a fan of winning. We've had that issue before, and we had it with the Heat, where LeBron came, so now everyone's a Heat fan. No. Be a Heat fan in 2006. Be a Heat fan in 2005. Be a Heat fan in 2007, 2008, 2009, when they were losing. Except for 2006, obviously. Be a Heat fan in 2004. Be a Heat fan in 2003. Be a Heat fan last year and this year when they weren't playing well. Granted, last year they got to the playoffs, but that's when people started recognizing that it was the Heat. Last year I went to 2 games sitting in the 100s, and the stadium was barely full. Games that could signify us going to the playoffs, and the stadium was barely full. But you go to the playoffs, the stadium's filled. How is that possible? And the same thing happens with the Dolphins. I went to a preseason game. Yeah, it's a preseason game, whatever. But even when I had season tickets 2 years ago, I would go to games in the 300s all filled. Of course, that's where in my opinion, the 300s is where the true fans sit, honestly. And then you have the 100s, and no one's there. You could literally go down there and sit, and no one would throw you out. But if they made the playoffs that year, you best believe if they had a home game, they would be there. Doesn't make any sense. You ride and die with your team no matter what. I will see you guys next time. This has been Samurai Radio. I'm out.